we can do a little better than that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, that is wonderful. Welcome to Lakeside Academy of Math, Science, and Technology, where we promote critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity. A couple of years ago, we had the privilege of speaking with local businesses about what they're looking for in employees. They stated they are looking for employees who are critical thinkers, problem solvers, and people who can come up with solutions without guidance. They're looking for employees who can get along with one another and work together. That had us thinking, are we promoting exactly what they're looking for? Unfortunately, at that time, we were unable to say yes to all of those things. So a change had to come. Now we are striving, like every other school in Hamilton County, to engage every child every day. And let me tell you, that's hard work. To engage every child every day takes a lot of planning. It requires teachers to collaborate on creating engaging, purposeful, and meaningful lessons. To plan those lessons, teachers work long hours. They come early, they stay late. They attend hours of professional development, and then they plan some more. They teach a lesson, they reflect, and then they plan some more. To engage every child every day means we have to take risks, putting aside what we're comfortable doing and choosing to do what's right for our kids. We have to provide them opportunities to build rockets and catapults, give presentations on their learning, and collaborate with others, even when it hurts. We must allow them time to solve problems with us giving them minimal assistance and instructions. Sometimes we even have to stand back and let them create a device, test it out, and watch it fail. But then ask them the question, now what? It's failed, now what? But assuring them that it's okay to fail because mistakes make new learning. The Leonora Annenberg grant has afforded us to do what's best for kids. Because of this grant, our students are learning differently. They're doing more hands-on activities. They're writing about what they've created with their own little hands. They're learning to work with little bits, which are electronic devices, building blocks that empower students to make creations. They're using iPads to do research, record their presentations, and then critique them. This grant has given us the tools we need to promote students who have the knowledge and the perseverance to become inventors, engineers, software developers, medical scientists, web developers, accountants, mathematicians, and financial advisors. These are the students of Lakeside Academy. I am so grateful for the grant, but I'm more grateful for an assistant principal, instructional coaches, support staff, and parents and teachers who have been willing to take the risk for our kids, who have been willing to allow me to stretch their thinking, to take them in a different place, to get them out of their comfort level. Because of them, we are well on our way to becoming one of the best schools in Hamilton County school system. We are Lakeside Academy of Math, Science, and Technology, where we promote critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity. Thank you.
I'm Dan Challoner. I'm with the Public Education Foundation, and this is a terrific occasion. And I'll try and speak just a short while because I'm really excited to have a tour with some of our docents who are going to show us what's happened in these two STEM labs. So let me say, first I want to thank some people for being here. Patricia Moore from Commissioner Beck's office is here. We really appreciate the Commissioner's support of public education and your presence here. Obviously, Superintendent Kelly is here. This is a man who every morning gets up knowing that 43,000 students are coming to school and 6,000 employees are coming to work. And yet he found time to be here and celebrate with us. And really appreciate having Dr. Kelly and Karen Hollis, who is the director of all the elementary schools in the county, but she's here today with us. I also want to thank two of my board members, Jim Hill, who is the chair of the Public Education Foundation Board, and Mr. Hill used to be a chemistry teacher at the United States Military Academy, and he was has one different hat, but he is a chemistry teacher also, and I'm so happy that he is here. And Ellen Hayes from Ellen is back there. Hi, Ellen, from our board. So I want to thank them all for being here, but especially I want to thank Andrea Johnson. She talked about teachers stepping up and taking a risk and going beyond, but she did the same thing, and that's what leadership is all about. What her willingness to, beyond her daily job, which is challenging, she also did a lot of extra work, along with those teachers. And I think the students know this, but your teachers are not only terrific, but they also work really, really hard. You all do some writing. I'll show you something. This is the proposal they submitted to get this grant, and it's about 40 pages. And they didn't do that during the day. They did that during the evening and on weekends so that these STEM labs would come. And so I'm always just in awe as my mom was a teacher, a kindergarten teacher, and my dad was a college professor, and they're my heroes, and your teachers did some heroic work to give the school this opportunity, and I want to thank the teachers for that. Let me tell you, this is an award that we're going to, in short order, get to see these two STEM labs. You should know that the woman who gave the money for it is a woman named Leonore Annenberg. She's a famous woman who worked in the Reagan administration and worked at different museums, the Metropolitan Opera, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the University of Pennsylvania. And she and her husband made a large gift to public education in the 1990s, the Annenberg Challenge, which actually created the Leadership Center that Mrs. Johnson and Ms. Holder graduated from, that the Annenbergs gave. But in 2008, which is just about when a number of you were born, right? 2008, yeah, 2008. I wish I were born in 2008, I wasn't, but 2008, Mrs. Annenberg created this fund. She put a lot of money in it and said she wanted to give schools across the country some special opportunities. Not schools, but children. And she made it possible. And in Hamilton County, and I think some of the adults know this, but I want to say this as well. We've had schools now every year for the last 6 receive Leonore Annenberg School Fund for Children. So if you drive over to Rivermont Elementary, you'll see a completely refurbished library. If you go to Calvin Donaldson, you'll see a science lab, an extraordinary science lab that's connected to a playground that involves the environment and gives children an opportunity to do work in the environment with that science lab. If you go to Hillcrest, every classroom has a book nook, a couple thousand books that children can pick from and read in their classroom. In 2014, Bestie Shepherd at East Side got a selection of laptops so that every student in that school has a laptop they can access. If you were with us last year, I know some of you were, East Side celebrated their reading laboratory that's particularly aimed for Spanish-speaking youngsters. So all across Hamilton County, Mrs. Annenberg's desire to help elementary schools has come into these wonderful opportunities for kids. And today we're going to see what Lakeside has done with this opportunity. Let me just tell you a quick story about how this actually happened, right? because I think it's about leadership and hard work, and those are values that I think are really important. A little more than a year ago, Mrs. Johnson had heard about Leonore Annenberg grants, and she contacted Bill Kennedy, who's sitting quietly over here, and they started to have a conversation. And Mrs. Johnson, who's a great leader, was really thoughtful, and she'd been at the school for a year, and she said, I think, even though we are a math, science, technology school, our science labs are pretty outdated. I'd like to transform those science labs into a STEM lab, and not just a place where kids sit, but where kids use their hands and have opportunities to do things and solve problems. And we were both impressed that this was her vision, but that she was reaching out, and then we found out, we heard through the grapevine, that they had gone visiting schools in different parts of this county and outside of the county to get good ideas. And we met with them a couple of times, and D'Amica Garner, who's the science school's magnet coordinator, had just spent a whole week learning about how you create lessons where kids can use their hands and solve problems. And we were impressed with all that she brought to this. And Michelle Ford, who's another teacher in this school, this kind of long proposal doesn't just happen. And those people, and Patricia Holder, the assistant principal, all stepped up. And then all the teachers came together and had a vision of how they could improve their school. And that's how this all happened. It was a vision, and then it was hard work. And that's what we get to celebrate. Now, this honestly is the first time I've been out to the school since the lab was completed. I'm a little embarrassed by that. But I saw Ms. Holder in the hallway, and she was just telling me, this is pretty extraordinary. In this school now, the students come for 75 minutes in the STEM lab, 4 days in a row, so that they're really solving problems and doing work. And it's not just one group of students, it's every student, K2 and 3-5, because they got 2 STEM labs. So in a short period, they've transformed how kids are learning, which is pretty extraordinary. I can talk a little bit about it, but you got to see it, and we got to hear from students. At the end of their proposal, the school, the author said, having innovative STEM labs at Lakeside Academy will allow our students to be the world's next problem solvers and innovators. These labs will spark a flame that ignites our students' lifelong passion for learning. And the power of that vision and that hard work convinced Leonore Annenberg School Fund for Children way up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to make this grant. And all these people came together to make it a reality for this school. So I'm delighted that this happened at this place. I see Caritza Mosley-Jones has just joined us. Thank you so much for being here. She's the school board member here. I seem to see her and read about her everywhere. Sometimes I think there are 4 or 5 of them with that name because she goes to so many things. Really appreciate you being here. And you're here for the best part, which is when the students are going to lead us through this. Having said all that, let me ask the superintendent, Dr. Kirk Kelly, to come and say some words. And one last thing, the reason these opportunities happen in Hamilton County, and this is the truth, Mrs. Annenberg cared a great deal about public-private partnerships, about communities where public schools and citizens work together. And the reason, there are lots of cities. She could give her grants to cities all over the world, all over the United States. But she chose to work in some places where there's a history of the community and community organizations like Public Education Foundation working in partnership with the school district. It doesn't happen many places. But these opportunities happen because Dr. Kelly and his staff want to have community partners. And I want to thank him for making this possible, for being here, and I'll get off the stage. Thanks.
All right, this is too tough speeches to follow, but let me just say thanks, especially to public education, to Dr. Challenger, Ms. Hollis, Ms. Johnson, Ms. Holder, Ms. Mosley, who is here, and Ms. Ware, who we work with at the central office. And a group that I want to also just say thanks to parents. Thank you. Thank you for sending your sons and daughters to Lakeside. And teachers, we really appreciate everything that you're doing. And students, this is a great opportunity. Thinking back to my mom and going back to that, they had horse and carriage. That was, when she was born, that was the mode of transportation. And looking at you all were more than likely be participating in building and driving driverless cars. New form of technology. Most likely when you all buy a car, the car that you buy would not be a combustible engine, but would probably be running off of some form of electricity. And the STEM program that we have right here is a great opportunity to learn and take part in science. I was a former math teacher, and we didn't have these opportunities. We basically had a textbook, and we had to stay with that textbook, and it wasn't as much fun, and you didn't get to learn as much as what you're going to get the opportunity to do. So please, take part in that, and you're doing that, and that's a great opportunity. We really want to thank the Annenberg Foundation. It's really been great to Chattanooga Public Education Foundation, bringing it in and working with us. We had a lot of opportunities that we otherwise could not have had. And so you're going to get a chance. You're getting iPads. You're getting a great STEM education that's involved with math and science. And you're going to be able to do something that's a lot more fun than doing problems out of a book. You're going to get to be able to create some stuff and do some stuff hands-on. So I really want to ask you and encourage you to take part of that. That's great that we have this in our city and our schools. And the most important thing is we have it right here at Lakeside, who focuses on mathematics, who focuses on science, who focuses on STEM education. And this is the way of the future. I never thought that I would be able to get information by just holding a little bitty 3 by 4-inch device in my hand, a cell phone that has so much information in my hand, so much knowledge. I would go to a library. Now you have that much knowledge and you're able to take part in it and you're able to actually use it. So this is a great day. We really look forward to the tour, look forward to all of the great things that you're going to do in the future with STEM, and really look forward to you all being scientists, mathematicians in the future. So I just want to say congratulations to the school and to everybody who's been involved in this. And if I didn't name you personally, I really support everything that you're doing. So let me say thanks.
Okay, good morning. My name is Patricia Holder, and I am the assistant principal here at Lakeside Academy. And I do want to thank everyone for being here today, especially my principal. We are a team, we're a family here at Lakeside, and we're hoping you get that feel as you tour with us here today. I want to give you a brief little peek into what brought us from last year to this year that might make a little bit of a difference in your tour. Information. Last year, and what you'll find in many schools, is a traditional type schedule. Not that that's good or bad, but we knew that that was not going to work for us if we wanted to take it to the next level. So last year we had 50 minutes or so related arts classes, science being one of those, okay? But when our teachers went out and started to research, what does PBL look like? What should that look like for our students? They found that in order to give an entire experience to a child, that it didn't need to happen in 15 minutes. It needed to happen over an extended period of time. So we had to go back to the drawing board, think out of the box, and recreate our schedule. So what it looks like this year is 4 consecutive days for a longer period of time. And so the students will go in day 1. They'll set up the information. The students will have a problem, and at the end we'll have reflected time and result. And so that, again, that harnesses back to what Ms. Johnson says, that our community and our workforce is asking for, that our kids are coming in able to create and think and collaborate. So in closure today, as you go in for the tour, and our fine docents back here will help lead that, think about some of those things. What does it look like? How are the kids able to communicate? And what kind of experiences are we providing for them through STEM? And again, thank you for being here today, and we will begin our tour process. Ms. Carter.